right as a result of the Lord's hand on me. And he enabled me to understand all the details of the plan. You know, now he said, now David said, I have it in right. He said, I have this in right, from God. So God put his hand on it and have him, and the result of the Lord's hand was on me. And he enabled me to understand. See, God wanted him to understand. See, God let him know, this is my plan. I need you to understand, because I need all the details to be perfect. So I need you to understand, all the details of the plan. So he said, in a result of the Lord's hand was on me, and he enabled me to understand all the details on the plan. So God wanted him to understand every detail that's gonna be on that temple. Because see, David, he dreamed of the temple. So he wanted to build the temple. But it's God's plan, and God wanted it done the way he wanted it done. And David in his little feelings, but he shed a lot of blood that he wasn't supposed to. They provide the divine inspiration was the hand letting David, both to write, both were right, like you writing, somebody putting their hand on top of your hand and making you write. The hand was letting David both to write and to understand. God wanted him to have all detail just the way he wanted. And that because even though, this David dream, but this is God's plan, and it will be done his way. He gonna make sure you write it just like he wanted. He want all the details to be perfect. So David also said to Solomon, his son, he still encouraged his son. He trying to make sure his son do this right. He's telling him, you did this, be strong, son. Encourage, and do the work. Do not be afraid, or discouraged. For the Lord, the God of my God is with you. So he let him know God gonna be with you while you doing this temple. For he will not fail you. He said God will not fail you. He said God gonna be with you while you putting this temple together, and he said God is not gonna leave you or forsake you. So you until now he said, now God, my God is with you, and he will not fail you or forsake you until all the work for the service of the temple of the Lord is finished. So he's saying, no matter how long it takes, he's saying, I'm not gonna leave you or forsake you, until the job is done. So David advised Solomon not to be frightened, about the size of the test as king and builder of the temple. Now fear can mobilize us, the size of the job, it risks or the pressure of the situation can cause us to freeze. So David know what's ahead of him. Solomon, it is a large test, but David still encouraged him, to not be afraid, but do the work. God is with you, and he will not leave you until the work of the temple is finished. So then God's plan will be complete. So the division of the priests and the Levites, they are ready for all the work on the temple, of God, and every willing person skilled in any craft will help you in all the work. The official and all the people obey, your servant's command. So David had charged Solomon, Israel, to the temple plan, but God have a big idea. God had a big idea, you know. So a divine plan. God had a big idea for a divine plan for God's kingdom. agenda that called for courage, obedience, by God appointed leader, with the support of the covenant community. Now, this was David's dream. This was David's dream, but God big plan. And he chose David's son Solomon to build the temple. Now he didn't know down the line that would affect him, when he got, past age. He was killing people husband and turn around marrying them. So David did a lot of stuff, and that's the reason why, he can't build the temple. So that's all the news and word I have for you today. We talk about the weather. We got Hurricane Lee coming, and I'm still gonna have update. So the storm effect may have impact on the United States Atlantic seaboard as early as this weekend. So we have one more thing for the weekend, to see how, keep monitoring this storm. And so we also talk about the update on uranium in Russia. So they said they give 600 million, to military equipment. The ones who helping them out with equipment and funds. So they also, you know, they also talking about FSB. You know, that's uh, federal security service. So the high place that they had ordained funds to size, explosive, and they had someone had the bombing, so the Ukraine president, Prime Minister Benjamin, they had a meeting to discuss how Israel could assist Ukraine in this war with Russia. So that's all the news and word I have for you today. Y'all have a blessed night, and I see y'all on the next video. And we have to remember, I'm talking to myself too. Our plan, it's not our plan, it's God's plan. So anytime we try to go our separate way, when we on the journey, and say we're gonna do this our way on my plan, it's always God's plan. That's why I've been trying to put a lot of stuff out, with everything that's going on in my life. Sometimes, I try to put it out. So our plan is God's plan. Even if we try to go in our separate way, it will still never work out. We have to stay connected with God. We have to keep the plan with Him. Like everything we do, we still have to contact with God. Because it's His plan. And we see that He wanted to give every little detail. Every detail of the temple. Because it's His plan. And His plan. And we see that they try to encourage Solomon. Telling him to be strong. Don't be afraid. And just do the work. So that's all I have for you tonight. Y'all have a blessed and safe night, and I see you on the next video.